Greek is stolen. Once was seen as a no one, now I become someone. After weeks in dungeons spent bludgeoning lines, make it say hi when they meet their demise. It's a plan to devise that I have to revise in order to surprise anyone who steps my shining sky, aka the sun is my spotlight. And on this stage I got an AK firing ever below on the bastard show. And the past will flow double crossing this boat, getting lost in his own, but lost of his own. But I'm not gonna blow this moment, no, I'm gonna own it and hone it to my opponent. Make them notice that I'm the closest to being chosen. Say I'm not, then you're getting ghosted. And yeah, that's the fucking bit I struggle with. Frankly, I've got enough wisdom to know how to cause an erosion. As beat as a jacket and attached as a bomb, where an explosion of words, rhymes, and metaphors and similes combined. But don't fret, because we're doing just fine. Yet it's close to the being to death. Yeah, I feel so alive, like nothing is solvable. I need to redo that.
Welcome to Dreamland.
I think it's about time I got around to actually filming this video. Now, like, it's fucking crazy to think about, like, when I actually began working on this project. Like, I had it planned a year ago. Like, I was basically, the original idea of what was supposed to happen this year is I was going to release Showtime, which was the first one that came out this year. Then I was going to do a remastered / remix version of the beginning EP, and then I was going to do the Dreamland EP. Now at the time I probably didn't have the name Dreamland in mind, that sort of came about during the process of it. So I was basically working on this project since last year essentially in terms of making the concept of it, and then about like January-ish sort of time where I was actually writing the songs for it. But I think the reason it took me like, what, pretty much 11 months, maybe even 12 to actually get the actual EP out is because I think it's 2020 in general. I think that was probably why, like, whole COVID situation, it kind of like lowered my motivation to make videos and stuff, and it was just a bit like, it wasn't like I couldn't be bothered, it was just like trying to find motivation to do it and whatnot. It just sort of made me struggle. And the whole, it doesn't sound stupid, but like the thing that pushed me to do it, because I had like, I think I probably had 2 of the songs recorded by like August sort of time. And I think the thing that pushed me to get the final 2 that were already written like out there and done was because of Logic and his album No Pressure. I think that whole thing, when that came out, like, it inspired me to the point of where I've now got a fucking tattoo of that album's name on my arm. In case you can't see, there it is. Like, that fucking album, No Pressure, was just a thing that made me fucking go, I want to do this one day. I want to get to the point where I can think about like retiring as a rapper and just like have a career as a rapper at the very least. And if I want that to happen, I have to do something about it. And that album pushed me to be like, fuck it, I'm dropping the EP, I'm getting the songs sent off to mix. I even mixed one of them myself, which was High, and I got the fucking thing out and people actually liked it. Like, this is the first time I felt like I've released a project and actually had a good reception to it. And me being at uni has helped me in terms of like just being able to like just tell people about my music and show them it, and then have a bit more of a wider audience to share my music with. It's a small step, but it's also at the same time a very large step to get into that larger step in the sense of like growing as an artist. So let's begin with the first song that we actually have on the EP, which is Can't Handle.
Being underrated can't handle. Thinking I will make it can't handle. Living just for living can't handle.
Right, so I've just got everything sorted out over here with the laptop and the microphone, and I'm about to start recording the song Can't Handle.
Being underrated can't handle. Thinking I will make it can't handle. Living just for living can't handle. Saying that I'm quitting can't handle. If no one has my back I can't handle. If I can't pay them back I can't handle. If they want me just for money, that's a scandal. And that's the sort of shit I can't handle.
Now, Can't Handle as a song wasn't too much of a concept. I generally, like, when I try finding my beats, I try picking them very specifically. I don't really just go full out random, especially when I'm doing like a concept like Dreamland. There's a certain vibe that I want to pick up on, that I want to sort of express and like portray to people, and Can't Handle I thought was the perfect sort of setup to it, and it sort of gave off this sort of summery, dreamy little like vibe, and I really fell in love with it. I was just like, the first beat I heard for this like EP that I wanted to make, and I was just like, that's it, that's the vibe I want to go for. When it actually came to recording the song, the easiest part for me was actually recording the verses. It was the chorus that I actually first had that did not sound great. So the chorus that you heard is the original chorus anyway, and how I envisioned it. But then I kind of, as I first recorded it, I did that version of it, and I just, because I'm not a singer, I just didn't like it, and I was just like very insecure about my voice, and I just like didn't really want to put it out there. So what I gave Craig, my producer slash mixer, is I gave him a version of it where I basically didn't try singing and I tried rapping the hook. And I am so glad that instead of doing that, I changed it back after he had mixed it and said, look, I think it will sound better like this. Can you do some auto-tune on it and make it sound better? And he pulled that off. So I did actually just find the original vocals I was going to use, but I just didn't like it when it was mixed in. Although the only thing I have to say is I could not find the actual instrumental mixed in with this that Craig did for me. So you're just going to hear an a cappella version of it right now.
Thinking I won't make it, can't handle. Living just for living, can't handle. Saying that I'm quitting, can't handle. If no one has my back, I can't handle. If I can't pay them back, I can't handle. If they want me just for money, that's a scandal. That's the sort of shit I can't handle.
I am gonna now talk about the second song on the EP, which is part of the plan. And that actually, ironically, was not part of the plan. Which I never thought about until now. Damn.
It's me at uni, up early, do some burpees, some squats, sit-ups and push-ups, take a sip from my glass, head to class, make a new ad, head home.
There's a journey on Dreamland, which I'll talk about a bit more later, but basically the idea of this journey is it's a ladder almost, and then you drop down. So essentially what this is basically me climbing my way up the ladder, and then I get to the third song, which is me at my peak, and then the fourth song, which completely throws me back down to the bottom. And originally what song number 2 was supposed to do, and was supposed to be called What's Up. Now, the implication there is that in part of the song, I've got lyrics written down somewhere. Basically, the hook of it was, when I say what's up, I ain't asking how you doing. When I say what's up, I don't need you to care. When I say what's up, I'm asking the question, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up there. Now, essentially what the implication was of what's up is supposed to be sort of a bit more of like, I guess more in sort of like a, like, yo, what's up sort of thing. I think that's what I was more going for, but as like the implication, but then at the end of the chorus, it's more what's up there, implying like, this is me on the second leg of the ladder and me looking up like towards where I want to go and being like, what's up there, what's it like when I reach my goal, essentially. I didn't really, there was something about the beat that I really loved, but I think at the same time there's a thing in the back of my head which was a bit like, it doesn't work with what I'm going for right now. I think if I were to say it best, it felt like something that probably would have belonged on like the bedroom mixtape instead of something like Dreamland. And part of the plan came around actually as the final song that was actually written, because during the time that I went through writing the other 3 songs, I kept trying to find a beat that would work for the vibe I was going for, and then I eventually found this one by, I think it was Nathan Spieler or something like that, and it just fucking hit. I did put in like Logic No Pressure type beats, so that's probably why you get a little bit of like the Logic implication there, or the influence slash sound of Logic, because it is a no pressure type beat. But that wasn't just the reason I chose it because it actually sounded good and sounded like the vibe I wanted to go for. Yeah, so it's been probably about a week since the last thing I was doing, and basically what I've been doing over this last week is trying to find a brand new beat for the EP for track number 2. I sent off Back Down to Earth this week to get mixed. Probably going to get it in the next 2 weeks, but during that time I want to make sure I get my final song written for the EP. So I've been searching for a new beat, and I've gone through many different ones that I've like tried finding and whatnot, and this is the one that has popped out of almost nowhere that I've been able to find and really enjoy right now. Currently at this point I've sort of written about, I think it's about 3 minutes long, which is kind of what I wanted. I wanted this one to be a little bit shorter, but I'm really enjoying the more storytelling element that I'm trying to do on this track, and I really feel like it's going to pay off when I fully get there. And I guess the point of this song was to be a bit more of a storytelling narrative theme to it, and that was something else I wanted to like really do on this like EP. 4 tracks, all 4 very different styles and do 4 very different things. And track number 2, Part of the Plan, was where this vibey shit and storytelling like stuff came in. And at first when I started writing it, it was very much more just sort of like going into it kind of with the feeling of the unknown, in terms of like not really sure what I was really going to do with it. I didn't have the full concept of what I was going to do, and that sort of came as I wrote. I think I got a few lines in where I was sort of talking about Inception and like sort of setting up the movie scene, and then in my head that sort of turned on this light of what if I turned this song into a movie scene itself. I think one of the things that I found with Dreamland is that I think people really enjoyed like the sound of it, which is great, but I feel like there's a lot more people haven't dived into, and like I feel like I'll get to it in a bit. Back down to earth, I feel like that was where people listen to the lyrics the most, but I feel like there's a lot more stuff that they didn't hear in the first 3, and even stuff within that final song where they could have missed things or misheard things, misinterpreted things, and could have delved deeper into. But because of my level as an artist right now and as a rapper, it's like people aren't going to give me the time of day to fully dive deep into my lyrics right now, at least. I'm sure a few people will. I know my mate Jack, who really likes my music, like I'm sure he does, but there's not a lot of people like him who are really willing to give the full time of day to go through all the lyrics that I've put in and the deeper meanings to things I put into this album, not album, EP. So the first verse, I basically get to the point where I'm dying, I'm on my deathbed, and my last word is regret. Now that word is like implied by me when I'm talking to the person who is doing the voiceover, which is actually Ellie, as you can see in this clip right now.
You're filming me. You're filming me. You try. No, I don't even want to record my voice, and yet you film me. It's like hearing that or not.
Okay. So this is the process I'm going through with Ellie to try and get this recording. Okay, I'll stop.
She didn't give me a proper chance to record it like I wanted to, but that's as much you're getting from that. But she actually did the voiceover, which I guess if you know Logic and you know Talia, that is an influence there, but I really wanted to not go for like the robot woman thing and kind of make this more angel sort of thing, and I feel like it being Ellie's voice is quite poetic in a sense. I feel like that was like the right call, and I'm very happy Ellie was able to give me that, because I feel like she was very iffy about doing it, but she did do it, and she did a good job at actually like doing the voiceovers I needed. It's going to get a bit confusing for me to explain it. It's me explaining it, so that'll make it double confusing. But essentially, me in the first verse, I am saying that is me on my deathbed. My last words I say are regret, but that's actually me telling my children that don't do something they're going to regret in life, because it's important they enjoy life and do what they want to do. And this is a vision that is shown to me through the person who speaks on the song, which is Ellie representing that person and that character. So in the first verse, it shows me the future of me on my deathbed. In the second verse, it shows me the past of where I am right now, or a version of me working super hard, but thinking it was a different path, and that both those paths didn't cross at any point, and they weren't a part of the same life. In the third verse, it's a little bit taken out of that storyline, but then at the end of it brings it back around to me questioning, wait, what if those two things are part of the same line, where I worked hard and then did exactly what I wanted to do, and then the end goal was like me on my deathbed anyway, just telling my children not to regret what they wanted to do. I hope that kind of comes out in a very simple way that you can understand. That's the best way I can probably explain it. But that was basically the story of Part of the Plan. Let's move on to track number 3, because I spent a bit more time on that track than I wanted to. And that is the song High. Now, fucking hell, this was a ball ache to record. I think it was like the 4th... Yeah, I think it was the final track to be recorded, actually. But essentially, for that song, after I had written it, I needed a female vocalist. My vocals were not going to cut for, like, they were not going to do what I needed them to do. I needed someone who could actually sing. Like, I literally put posts up on my Instagram story, like, asking if anyone was interested. This one girl called Izzy, like, she had some interest in it, but I think just stuff in her life sort of got in the way of her actually doing it. And I think she must have sent it to one of her friends called Shah, and she messaged me back and actually was interested in doing it. And she was very busy, and it was like kind of a thing of like, there were a few weeks from where I wanted to release the EP, and like at this point it was basically ready on my part. It was just waiting for her, and it was like, actually kind of a blessing in disguise, because I think when the EP dropped, it was the perfect time and like when it needed to drop. And I think one of the funnier things with this is actually the first song that I've properly mixed that actually sounded good. Now I did actually send it over to Craig to mix first, and he sent me back this version of it that just, it wasn't my vision of it. For me, what was more beautiful about her voice was how raw they were, and like the talent in there and the skill that she had to actually sing was the main part of it, and I didn't want to actually do anything to lose any of that. So I kind of took it on myself to actually mix a song, because it was like, the other thing is like, I think at that point I was like, I want this fucking shit out. I need it done ASAP. I will rely on myself to try and get this one done. And credit to me, I'm not gonna lie, I got it done. I've tried mixing since then, like with backup, which I'll get onto a bit later. But I tried doing it with that and it didn't come out how I wanted it. I don't know what it fucking was about that song, but something just fucking clicked and got it done. And I was very happy with how that mixing by me came out. So I feel like my focus on that song definitely was like, at first it was the melody because I really liked it, but that wasn't really for me to do. Obviously it was for a singer to do. Me, it was like, I'm showing people I can fucking rap. I did a little bit of it in track 1, but I want to do it right now and just show you that I can fucking go off.
Ollie Rodriguez Stallman once was seen as a no one, now I've become someone. After weeks in a dungeon spent bludgeoning lines to make us say hi when they meet their demise. It's a plan to devise that I had to revise in order to surprise anyone who steps in my shining sky, aka the sun is my spotlight. And on this stage got an AK, find everyone below on the bus of the show. Then the possible flow double crossing his bow, getting lost in his own with the loss of his own. But I'm not gonna blow this moment, no, I'm gonna own it and hone into my opponent. Make them notice that I'm the closest to being chosen. Say I'm not, then you're getting ghosted. And yeah, that's the fucking bit I struggle with. Frankly, I've got enough wisdom to know how to cause an erosion. As beat as a jacket and attached as a bomb. We're an explosion of words, rhymes, and metaphors and similes combined. But don't fret, because we're doing just fine. Yet it's close to the being to death. Yeah, I feel so alive, like nothing is stopping me. I need to redo that. Below on the bus of the show, and the possible flow double crossing his bow, getting lost in his own, the loss of his own. But I'm not gonna blow this moment, no, I'm gonna own it and hone into my opponent. Make them notice that I'm the closest to being chosen. Say I'm not, then you're gonna ghost it. And yeah, I could coast this one, but I'm so low. Really, fucking hell. Say I'm not, then you're getting ghosted. And yeah, right, that I'm the closest to being chosen. And make them notice, say I'm the closest to being chosen. Say I'm not, then you're getting ghosted. And yeah, I could coast this, but I'm so sick I don't need to ride a wave to get over this ocean. Okay, right, let's try that again. On the bus of the show, then the possible flow double crossing his bow, getting lost in his own, the loss of his own. But I'm not gonna blow this moment, no, I'm gonna own it and hone into my opponent. Make them notice that I'm the closest to being chosen. Say I'm not, then you're getting ghosted. And yeah, I could coast this, but I'm so sick that I don't need to ride a wave to get over this ocean. Frankly, I've got enough wisdom to know how to cause an erosion. This beat is a jacket attached to the bomb. We're an explosion of words, rhymes, metaphors and similes combined. But don't fret, because we're doing just fine. It's close to the being to death. Yeah, I feel so alive, like nothing can stop me from living my life, especially when I've got this sight in front of my eyes. Honestly, it's a perfect height. For now, I'm living so high, I don't even realize. Yeah.
So I basically go, Ollie Rodriguez Stallman is like the starting point to sort of break up from like O.R.D and actually show like I am the person here, not just like this rapper like ego of me. And I feel like what I did in this song was like, I made a very like hard rap verse, 2 of them in fact, but I did make this sort of like story that sort of slipped in underneath the radar, I felt. So the basic idea of this song is it's basically me at the top of the mountain thinking about where I started. So like especially in the second verse you see a lot more of it, and it's like, if we start with the first verse anyway, the first few lines are Ollie Rodriguez Stallman once was seen as a no one, now I've become someone. That's a good setup to what I'm on about. It's me reminiscing of where I was at the beginning and where I was like before I began rapping. And then in the second verse there's a bit where I sort of reminisce on the beginning mixtape and how I was actually going to redo it this year and how I decided to drop it, how I talk about the song Ascend and how I felt like that's one of the songs where like there was a feature on it and I felt like I got a little bit outshined on it. But every time I go to that song I kind of question, did I get outshined? Because I'll be honest, the guy on it's Simple, he definitely brought his fucking A game and definitely outdid me rapping wise, and I definitely was not at my best there. But I do feel like sometimes when I think about that song, I kind of got the more memorable lines and people could understand me, which is something I've learned to understand in rap. there's two very different sides to the coin, I guess you can say, to rap, in my opinion. You either have people who are rapping and doing it fucking well, let's say like Eminem, or you have people on the other side who are making songs and making stuff that people would prefer to listen to more from a casual fan perspective, whereas like the more rap side of it is a more hardcore fan base, I think. So those will be the people who listen to Eminem, whereas these are the people who are going to be listening to people like Juice WRLD, for example, who make more melodic sort of songs. That's kind of how I see it, and I've kind of chosen to take the element from this side and then throw it onto this side. But then essentially at the end of that verse, or more midway through it even, I was kind of talking about how like there was a point in time where I decided to change how I was in rap. I wasn't, at the beginning I was trying to be on this side of the coin where I was trying to be this hardcore rapper, but then there was this point in time where I stopped doing as much of that and switched to the other side, and that was where I found my success, but not completely losing that side. I took elements of it and threw it into that side, and that's when I began to work and started seeing like progress being made, and that is where Dreamland is the beginning. And if you look on the front cover of Dreamland, you will see it says somewhere on it like the prequel and the sequel, and that's kind of where in High, that's where the prequel element of it is. It's like I'm telling you the story before it happens, which is why it's also the sequel, because it's telling you what's going to happen in the future. I don't fucking know what goes through my head sometimes.
These bitches must be faded if they say I'm underrated, but that makes me motivated when I'm feeling mostly hated. Supposed to say I hate it, but I take it to help me be the greatest. What you say is unrelated, what you do is what I'm taking. Can't repeat what I just stated, how my rhymes be getting